Hello, welcome to U.S. Immigration Updates.
If we're to advance liberty and justice, we need to secure our border and fix the immigration system. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those with temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Revise our laws so businesses have workers they need and families don't wait decades to reunite. It's not only the right thing to do, it's economically smart thing to do. That's why the immigration reform is supported by everyone from labor unions to religious leaders to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Let's get it done once and for all.
Today, the House is considering H.R. 3648, the EAGLE Act, a bipartisan bill that raises the per-country caps on family-sponsored immigrant visas and phases out the per-country caps on employment-based immigrant visas.
At the 11th hour, at the end of the 117th Congress, while Democrats are colluding with a bunch of weak-kneed Republicans in the Senate to pass a bunch of money that we don't have, to borrow more money that we don't have, to jam through a massive omnibus spending bill at the expense of the American people, this body is about to jam through a garbage immigration bill that will undermine people around the world seeking to come here who are going to be put to the back of the line while colluding with big tech and big corporate interests to do it.
Now, last time we discussed this, I talked to Republican Congressman Barry Moore, who dismissed this compromise from the right. Today, different conversation. Joining me now is Lou Correa, Democrat of California, who, along with several other Democratic members of the House, has previously called the proposal inhumane. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. All right, so look, I get that this is imperfect. I get that you don't support aspects of it. But if this doesn't happen, doesn't that ensure that A, no progress is made in more funding for processing cases at the border, and B, you don't get the dreamers having a path to citizenship?
Number one, let me say that we're here to roll up our sleeves and do what's best for America and for the American people. Immigration reform, our economy, record unemployment rate, all screams we need immigrants working in this country. I'm here to work with people.
Immigrants had high hopes for the EAGLE Act at the end of 2022, but the bill has once again been postponed. In January, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the nation's biggest lobbying group, unveiled its yearly legislative agenda and calling for overhauls of immigration law and federal permitting procedures as well as new trade deals. If you are interested in any of these topics, stay tuned to the end of this video for your immigration updates. If you like this video, please click subscribe button, like this video button and click the bell icon to get new updates instantly directly to your YouTube homepage on your smartphone or smart device. Now let's get into the video and find out what's new in U.S. immigration. Due to last 2 years of challenges, the total applications have resulted in extended wait times for U.S. visa interview appointments in some locations, most notably for first-time visitor visa applicants and immigrant visa applicants in some countries. Many applicants for U.S. visas are required by U.S. law to appear in person. However, local pandemic-era restrictions on public places like our overseas consular sections curbed our ability to see visa applicants. Now that most countries have lifted restrictions, 96% of our embassies and consulates can provide routine visa services. Amid friction with some House Republican leaders over its endorsements of some Democratic candidates, the K Street Group's executives urged the divided Congress, and the Biden administration, to work across the political aisle and to avoid brinkmanship over raising the debt limit. We're locked in this cycle of hyperpartisanship and political power swings, Suzanne P. Clark, the group's president and CEO, said in an annual State of American Business address that was held online. Both political parties promise they'll do the big, hard things when they gain full control, and can do it their way, without the give and take that comes from working across the aisle. The other party promises to undo those things when they get a majority in Congress, which often turns out to be the very next election, she added. That political backdrop, Clark said, turns into constant uncertainty for U.S. companies. She added that current immigration policies, and the U.S.-Mexico border situation, also are not helping businesses. When a border crisis allows millions to cross illegally into this country, but we can't get visas processed for engineers and nurses that businesses are desperate to hire and communities need, government isn't working, she said. Both Clark and Neil Bradley, the Chamber's executive vice president, chief policy officer and head of strategic advocacy, downplayed previous rifts with House GOP leaders and said the lobbying group had no regrets about any of its political endorsements, which skew toward Republicans but also include Democrats like Virginia Representative Abigail Spanberger. "No, there's no buyer's remorse about our endorsements this cycle," Bradley said during a news conference Thursday after Clark's speech. "The reality is that nothing is going to get done in Washington, unless you're able to work with both sides of the aisle. Our threshold's really simple: do you support business? And if you support business, and you're willing to work with business, then we're willing to work with you. And so we have zero regrets about the people we support." House GOP sources, including members of Congress, and other people familiar with the chamber privately say the relationship between the chamber and the House Republican majority remains strained. The tensions are rooted in issues such as the chamber's endorsements of a slate of Democrats in the 2020 elections, as well as corporate America's support for an immigration overhaul and its embrace of environmental, social and governance policies. The chamber routinely spends the most on federal lobbying as reported to Congress. Though that top dollar spending continued in 2022, total revenue for the chamber declined in 2021, according to the group's tax filing, to $204 million from $230 million the prior year. Some House Republican leadership aides said publicly last year that they would hold meetings with chamber officials. During the news conference, a reporter asked Clark when was the last time she'd spoken with or had a meeting with Speaker Kevin McCarthy or someone else from House Republican leadership. "I am sure that we are in touch with every office you are thinking about on a weekly basis," Clark said. "I can't think of one that we're not. And so I can keep saying that, and everybody can keep asking this question. And I will say again, what I said on TV this morning, which is we have a great Speaker of the House. He is going to be powerful. He's going to get a lot done," she said, "and we're going to be there to support him on permitting reform, on border security and immigration reform, on real oversight on some of this government regulation, overregulation, on energy production." That's all we have for you in this bulletin. I hope you found this video useful. We will post new videos when there are more updates. The U.S. Immigration Update channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB-3, EB4, EB5 and family immigrant visas. Thank you for visiting us today and see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel for more U.S. Immigration Update videos.